And this was not going to be a good situation. 40 people, I would say, looking at the apartment, just like going through. How, like, where did I search? Where did I look for apartments? Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Maddie, if you have never been here before. And wow, okay, so it has been like a hot minute since I have, you know, set up the old tripod and done like a real kind of like sit down talky video, but I think this is a perfect occasion to do so because I moved, as you may have seen in a previous vlog. Hopefully I swear I will try not to ramble too much, but I just wanted to make a quick video about how I found my apartment in Paris, because when I was looking for my apartment, I watched the videos from Damon, Dominique, and Purple Palace, and I just found their videos super helpful. But I just found it really helpful because they actually give like really great information about how they found their apartments. And I think especially finding an apartment as an American, like as a foreigner in Paris, it's like you kind of got to navigate the system maybe a little bit differently than if, you know, you were a French person finding an apartment here. So let me take you back. So I was in the US over the summer, and I knew that I was going to move when I came back. And so basically my first step was, obviously I had to get an Airbnb for a little bit, and so that way I could like have a place to stay while I was searching for a place, which that is kind of my first tip, is like, do not, and I repeat, do not sign anything or send anyone money without actually seeing the place and like speaking to the person in person. Like that is a big time no. And I see posts occasionally in Facebook groups that are like, oh my god, I sent this person €1,000 and now I just went to the apartment and the locks are like changed. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you see scams all the time. So please do not sign anything or send anyone money without seeing the place, you know, whatever, making sure you have that signed document in hand. Okay, hi. Okay, so I was just rewatching this and I talked about scams, and I just wanted to like quickly jump on here and like really harp on that like there are so many scams on these websites like Le Bon Coin, Pep-Fr. Like you have to really like parse through them, and it's kind of disheartening how many scams there are. It's like, it's very annoying because you find a place and you're like, oh my god, it's too good to be true. And if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. Basically, that's the biggest way to know if it's a scam, is if they want you to send them money in advance, like before, like, we need the money right now. No. Like that's not how it goes. Don't send anyone money. So be very careful of scams because they're very prevalent, and like they're so prevalent. Like there's like so many of them. That's why I don't think I've said it yet in the video, but like you have to call. You have to get on the phone. You have to go to the place. You have to see it. Maybe take a friend with you. You know, be safe. But anyway, I just wanted to jump on here and like really like drive that point home. It's wild. Like there's so many of them, and it's so disheartening and it's so frustrating. But anywho, be careful. My budget. So I obviously am like a student. We're not making a ton of money, but that's okay. Like we, you know, one day. So my budget, I would say, I really just wanted to spend like maximum 650 euros. So obviously that gives me like a pretty limited places that I could search for. And so initially I was looking with another girl. I was looking with a roommate, and we were gonna do like some crazy shit. Like basically like she wanted to split a 1-bedroom. So like one of us would live in like the salon or like the living room, and one of us would take the bedroom. I just think this is an important thing. I just think that like whenever it comes to like living situations, and especially for my situation where I was like moving out of my boyfriend's place, I lived there for 2 years. I was like, I just really want a place where I can like feel comfortable, feel like myself, and like I was like, I just want to be in like a good situation. And this was not going to be a good situation. And so basically I ended up pulling out of that, and I basically just went with my gut and I said, I cannot live with you, like it's not gonna work out. So anyway, so my other kind of like factors for finding a place is, so a lot of studios here in Paris have like, not like weird floor plans, but I was like, I really would like, you know, just a studio, small studio, no problem. But I was like, I really want my bathroom to be like completely separate, because a lot of places here Like the shower will be in the room, but I was like, if possible, I would really like to have it in like a different room in case, like, I don't know, this is like where my mind goes. I was like, in case anyone ever visits, or like in case there's like people here, I don't know. So anyways, I really wanted that, but that was also something that I was like, if I find like a great place, that's something that I could like kind of be lenient on. But yes. And I also, like, I wasn't super picky about the neighborhood. I mean, obviously it would have been great to be like closer to work and things like that, but I mean, there's just like so many great places in Paris to live. Like I love the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, even like the 6th and the 7th are nice. Like the 14th is cute, like the 18th has some really charming, like it's like where Montmartre is, and like the 9th is really nice. I mean, it's like there's just, the 12th also has some really great affordable like apartments. There's just a lot of places that you can live, you know, like République, like the 10th, like I don't know, there's really not a lot of places that areas that you can like go wrong in Paris, because everything is so well connected. Anywho, so after I told that girl that I was not gonna live with her, which did not go over very well, I set out on my own for looking at places, which kind of leads me into like the next, like where did I search? Where did I look for apartments? So basically there are some websites that you need to look at, and I will link them below. So I looked on Le Bon Coin, which is basically like the French equivalent of Craigslist, I would say, and I've bought some stuff for this apartment off of Le Bon Coin. It's like a great resource for that. There's also pap.fr. There's like Bailty, I think it's called. And then also Carte de Coloc, which is like the map of roommates. So that's where people will post like if one of their roommates is leaving and they need someone to move in. And I did look on that website, but I think once I decided I wanted to live alone, I kind of like stepped back from looking on that website. So I basically started making phone calls, which is my next tip, is like, if you want to find a place, you gotta get on the phone. Like truly, the only places that I was able to like make a rendezvous and go see places is when I called. If you're ever on these websites and they're like, send an email to the propriétaire, like I never received a response. Like you gotta get on the phone. So if you don't speak French, I don't know what you would do. I guess maybe some people will speak English. I don't know. That leads me to my first showing. So I looked at a place on Rue Saint-Denis, which is like near Châtelet, in like the center of Paris. I think it was like in the 2nd. And okay, so basically this is how I found it. I was on, I think Le Bon Coin or some website, and basically the listing was like, if you want to see this place, show up at this address tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. No other information, no like rendezvous, like if you want it, come show up. So I was like, great, in the 2nd, I'll come see it. So I go to the viewing at 9 a.m. and there are no less than like 40 people, I would say, looking at the apartment, just like going through. A lot of people are like talking to the real estate agent, they're like asking all these questions. And I immediately knew like my dossier is not going to get selected. Like I was like, this place is so awesome. It's like a perfectly laid out studio, has everything I want, great light, great windows. But I was like, my dossier is not going to get selected, which, let's talk about dossiers for a second. Your dossier is what you will present to the agency or to the propriétaire to say, these are my papers, this is why you should like select me. So what can be in a dossier? Good question. Copy of your passport. If you have some sort of contract for your work, like for example, I have a contract because I have an alternance, needs to be in there. My like inscription letter to school, it's in there. I had a letter from my parents saying that they would like back me as a financer in case of like emergency, which is like not an ideal situation. I will touch on that in a second. Actually, I'm going to touch on it right now. So normally in your dossier, they're going to ask you for a garant. Basically, so this apartment that I went to on Rue Saint-Denis was listed by an agency. So an agency, like a real estate agency, an agency is going to ask you for a guarantor, someone that can like financially back you in the case of emergency, in the case of you not paying your rent. This person, usually it needs to be like a French person, a French guarantor. And if you don't have a French guarantor, like a real person, agencies are pretty much out of the question, which is something that Damon and Purple Palace touch on, is like, if you don't have a guarantor, don't even try with an agency, because they will not accept you. Like, they won't do it. I tried, I asked, I literally went up to the real estate agent at Rue Saint Denis and I was like, oh, like, I'm super interested. I was like, I love this place. Like, do you accept Visal or Garant Me? Very important. These are two guarantee things that you can use as a foreigner. Garant Me is like a guarantor service. I don't understand it as well. Visal is like government, from the government. So they will guarantee you up to like a certain amount, which I think is also what Purple Palace talks about in her video. I applied for this place. Obviously, I sent her like 100 million emails being like, and she was like, we selected someone else. Okay, so after this viewing, when I left, people were on their computers sending their dossier. So that's another big tip, is like, be ready with your dossier. Either bring it or send it right after. For example, this place, she specifically specified like, don't give me anything, email it, because like there was literally like 40 people there. So obviously didn't get that place. The second place I looked at was in the 18th, kind of like more northern Paris, cute studio. It had a lofted bed, which I was like, feel like I'm freaking back in school. But I was like, it was like really cute, but like, once again, like, didn't get it. Okay, fine. Finally, so also by now I had narrowed my search to only looking at places that were owned by a private person, basically. Like, they're owned by a propriétaire privé. Like, it's not an agency, it's just like a person who owns an apartment, you know, and they're leasing it out. So I'm at work on Saturday and I see this listing. Because at this point I'm like searching around the clock, which if you're looking for a place, you probably need to do this too, because things move like super quickly. Okay, so I'm at work on Saturday and I see this listing for an apartment in a location that is like insane. I have not seen any other apartments for listings in this area in my budget. I'm like, holy shit, oh my god. Okay, so there weren't even photos yet of the place, but I was like, oh, I'm calling. So I call and obviously he's like, okay, what's your like situation? What's your dossier? Like, are you a student? Do you have a guarantor? Are you like this, like asking all these questions, which is normal. Like, a lot of people will ask you questions about your situation before as almost like a pre-screening. So like, don't be freaked out by that or whatever. So he's like, okay, come see the place tomorrow at noon. I'm like, great, I will be there. And then I get a text from him being like, oh no, come at 12:15. And I was like, okay, well, we're already off to like a bad start, because I'm like, you're obviously pushing me back for like someone else, you know what I'm saying? But anywho, so I come and see the place at 12:15 and there's someone else in here, and I was like, okay, well, like, it's over then. And they're like, I can hear them speaking, they're like French, you know, whatever. And so I walk in and I'm like looking at it and I'm like, you know, really like trying to like attentively look and like, you know, whatever. And basically I just talked to the landlord and I explained my situation. And I said to him, I was like, you know, I'm American, it's really hard to find a place. And I said, and I work very, very close to here. I was like, it just would be so perfect for me to have a place that I don't take transfer in the morning, that's like very easy to get to. I was like, I would just literally love that so much. Like, this place is perfect for me. Like, I love the building, I love this area so much. Like, it would just be perfect. And we walked out of the building together. He was like going home, we chit-chatted, and it just like, I really felt like he like, when I was speaking, he was like taking notes of what I was saying. Like, you can tell he like really cared about like who was going to be renting this place. And then as we're leaving, he said to me, he's like, yeah, I get like a really good feeling from you. So that is like something, I guess another tip is like, don't be afraid. I mean, like, if you like a place, like, explain why you like it, why it would work for you, you know, like, I mean, don't be like, you know, don't be annoying if the, you know, whatever. But I explained to him like why I liked it, why this place would be so perfect for me, like, you know, whatever. And so that night he texted me and he was like, there's someone who wants to come from Nice in the south of France to look at it, which it's just like so crazy. Like, this is such like a small place. Like, anyways, and he was like, there's someone who's coming from Nice that's interested in renting. Like, do you want it? And I was like, and for a second I was kind of like, and I was like, yes, you know what? Yes, I'm not going to find anything better for my budget in like such an incredible area. And I said, yes, I want it. And it was kind of like not scary, but like come on Monday and like sign the documents. So I literally went to his office Monday night, signed the rent, whatever the lease, and like got the keys, and like that's it. So I saw this place on Saturday, had the keys on Monday. Like it is super fast, but I feel like that's kind of like par for the course in like big cities, especially where there's just a lot of students. I feel like kind of vying for these like small, inexpensive studios. Which, speaking of, my rent here, so this place is 570 euros a month, which I'm also in the process of applying for CAF, which is the Caisse Allocation Familiale, which is like a whole other thing that I'll explain later. But basically, there's like a chance that I will get more money off my rent, which is awesome. Okay, so that is kind of like the story about how I found this place. I hope that there's like some wisdom in this video about like how you can find a place. It is like it's definitely like a little bit harder, like I said, as like a foreigner in France, because you're just like competing with people that have like French guarantors, like they have French parents, like it's just like a little bit easier for them to find a place. But like, don't be disheartened. Like, you're gonna find a place, it's gonna be great. You just have to like search a lot, have your dossier ready, plead with the landlord, just like explain your situation, be prepared to explain your situation. Maybe if you can't like speak French, maybe have like a letter prepared or something kind of explaining. That is my story, and if you guys need any help, if you have any questions, please feel free to like comment down below and I will respond, or send me a message on Instagram. I am pretty good about like checking those and stuff. But anywho, thank you guys so much for watching. I like really hope I'm not forgetting anything. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. I swear I'm gonna get back on like some sort of like consistent schedule, but thank you guys so much. Doodles.